I'm gonna have to
All right, welcome
react.
back to
But
F1 Fanatic. Finally, it's here, testing. I stayed up from 2 in the morning until approximately 11 a.m., in and out of sleep looking at the data. And some really big news today. So, what we're going to focus on today from the testing in Bahrain is that Williams has made a jump back, made a comeback. They got 145 laps total, 77 by Sainz and 68 by Albon. That's very good. What's also big news is that it's not looking good for Aston Martin now. They didn't get a lot of mileage in, and their times were piss poor slow. I know this is testing, and times don't mean anything, but when you're about 10 seconds behind, or about 8 to 7 seconds behind the leader, that's a big gap, and it shows that Aston Martin may have the great aero, but they still have to worry about getting their engine reliable and able to perform. I don't think their engine is able to perform. But for me, the biggest news today was Max Verstappen. Let's take a look at his mileage for racing. Verstappen raced today by himself and put in 136 laps. To show you how many laps that is, that's just slightly less than the 144 combined with Williams, 145 combined with Williams. And not only did he do 136 laps, he had the second fastest time today, a 134.798. So in this track, the fastest time last year was 129. So that's only 6 seconds behind for Verstappen, and Norris led him by about 0.12 seconds. So what Verstappen did was he did 136 laps, and several times he was in the 135 range to the 134.7. So he showed that the car can push hard, and not only can it push hard, it can push hard for a long time, 136 laps. He also had the fastest top speed. If I'm correct, he had the top speed of 344 kilometers per hour, followed by Lando Norris, 341. So what Red Bull demonstrated today with Max Verstappen is the car can go tons of miles. He did basically 2 races today, 146 by himself, where other teams had to have both drivers combined to do it, showing the type of energy he has. And on top of that, had very fast times, had very high top speed, 344 kilometers per hour, leaving Lando Norris 3 kilometers per hour behind. So this is very good news for Verstappen. We're going to start focusing on this before we get to the problem that Aston Martin has, where they're not getting enough lap time in, which is not to be surprising, because they didn't get a lot of lap times done in the testing in Spain. Kunle, what do you think about this? Verstappen had 144 kilometers. And let me tell you why that's so important. I bet you that during every bit of those laps he did, that was Verstappen, who's the sensor, who's processing what's on the track, getting valuable data, staying out there like he does with sim racing. He basically treated today as an endurance sim racing test and gained valuable knowledge, which is going to help the development of the car. And which is why I say Verstappen, along with Red Bull, will always be the best, because you have a workaholic who does tons and tons of miles. Today he drove for about 8 hours, or 6 to 8 hours, getting in data. Then I'm sure he's going to go home and get on the sim machine. So once again, it's not so much that he had the second fastest time or that he got a lot of laps to help the engine. He also got a lot of information that he's going to be processing, because we know that Verstappen only lives to process, to sim race, and to become more and more part human, part machine, part matrix of the whole experience. What do you think, Kunle?
yes, yes. I mean, even though Norris did get the fastest time today, he only did 30 laps, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
You get. I mean, this is a stage of Formula One where we're trying to gear up and sort of set your wicket for the season. Yeah. And in that respect, you're looking at laps, not so much the fastest time at this stage. And in respect of laps, I mean, Verstappen has taken it away with 134. I'm surprised to see that in second place is that ass all the way down with.
Well, Haas had a lot of kilometers together as a team. They had a lot of laps together.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, they did very well. I saw Esteban Ocon alone got 114 laps. That's not far behind Verstappen.
Yeah.
So he did very well as well. Where was Verstappen's teammate?
No, Verstappen, they're going to share duty. So tomorrow, Haja will drive by himself. Then on the third day, they'll do half and half. You get my point?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Red Bull car 2 does. If car 2 is able to do close to as many laps as the car 1, then we know that this is a Red Bull team that's ready for a lot.
Yeah.
It's all because I'm also interested to see whether Haja can get as many laps in as.
Verstappen is Herculean. That's all I can say. Like, for example, Ferrari had 132, but Leclerc had 80 and Hamilton had 52. That's pretty good by Leclerc. And if I'm correct, I think Leclerc claimed third in time. I think he had a 136. So Ferrari's looking good. It's just that Ferrari doesn't have that extra boost that Red Bull and these guys may have. McLaren. Now, interesting enough,
actually 135.
Mercedes only had 86 laps today, but throughout the board, Mercedes, Alpine, and Williams had a technical issue with the engine. And it's funny that this is happening in hot weather. So I'm surmising that maybe with their compression and the power of the engine, it may not be 100% reliable in a lot of heat in hot conditions. And also, I believe that because Mercedes had so much mileage early on, they might have taken risks coming here to try to go into. When you've proven that you have stability and consistency and reliability at one level, you now push it. So maybe you're a little bit more unreliable, but you're now pushing it into territories that other teams have. So maybe Mercedes might have pushed it a little bit too much with their engine, and they'll have to back off. So I don't think it's a big deal. What do you think? You understand what I'm trying to say? Mercedes may have had reliability issues because maybe they're ready to push it to the next level of performance because they were so far ahead before. That's what I mean. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, and if you look at we had expected Mercedes to take advantage of the little bits and pieces that people were complaining of. They were their advantage in respect of their ratios, and it's not really shown up. It's not really shown up.
Yeah, but they may be sandbagging because maybe they're sandbagging so they don't cause a scene, so that the FIA doesn't ban it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, or maybe they just didn't. Or maybe they just hadn't thunk it through.
Yeah. I think we all expect Mercedes to be ahead of the grid, but I have a feeling that Red Bull and McLaren are on their tail. You understand what I'm saying? So Mercedes may still be the favorites, but I think rumors of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. That's what Red Bull and McLaren are saying. Go ahead, Kunle. Yeah.
It's not surprising that Mercedes, not surprising from my point of view, because I always envisaged the Mercedes as a car that likes cool weather, although I know the rules have changed.
Oh, no, they do like cool weather.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a surprise that the Bahrain weather did not allow the car to do well.
Yeah, because I think that Mercedes system is always overcharged, so it overheats. But the cool weather neutralizes that overheating. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, so I mean, he still managed to do well to get as much as, close to 60 laps. I see the 56 laps of the track was George Russell. His average, it wasn't great. He's not that fast, he didn't do that many laps, but he's there or thereabouts. He's behind the McLarens and the Red Bull for now, which is unfortunate. And the Ferrari has done quite well to be up there.
Oh yeah, Ferrari is reliable. I just don't think that they have super performance right now, but they're reliable. Yeah. So let's talk about Williams. Okay, go ahead, Kunle. What are you going to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that I know that Hamilton always does better in race conditions as he does in testings and practice and warm-ups and all this sort of thing. Yeah. So I still expect some more excitement from him when the actual racing goes on.
So let's talk about Williams. Williams had 145 laps. That's very good for a team that didn't come to the shakedown. And I think if you look at Williams' car, it's probably a little bit too heavy, and they have a very basic design. So what they did was, because they were having reliability problems with the crash test, they overcompensated by making their car heavy. But they didn't do too badly. They have a tank. A tank can do a lot of laps. And also, they weren't too slow. They were in the 137s, both of their drivers, which isn't bad. So it looks like Williams has recovered a little bit, and they're still behind, but they've made up a lot of ground because they got 145 laps. What do you think?
Yeah, Williams are doing. They're building slowly. We saw them not being really competitive for many years, and then towards the end of the season, we started seeing more often than not they're getting into Q1. Still struggling to do well in the racing. I think because their engine seemed to have problems under race conditions. I don't know whether they whether the cars died out or they just weren't fast enough.
Yeah, Mercedes had problems. That was the Mercedes engine had problems today. Yeah.
So, and I think, but Williams have done well. I mean, they're using the Mercedes engine as well, aren't they? I think.
Yeah. They did.
So, I mean, they've done well to try to manage what they've got. I mean, the fact that they're using, they don't have their own engine, so they've done quite well to get as much out.
And they've come in with a very blocky car that has a lot of fortitude, so that means it's not going to be as aerodynamic efficient. So but at least they can whittle away with that. You understand what I'm saying? They can whittle away and improve. All right, so let's talk about the ugly. The fucking ugly is our boys from Aston Martin. They didn't even record times that were notable to place. They had 33 laps. What is it, Kunle? 33 or so. They had 36 laps. Aston Martin had 36 laps. That's not doing them. And this is going back to the fact that they're so far behind on their engine. And I think this goes to what we said yesterday, where they're not giving Cowell any input. Cowell's their power unit guy. It seems like Adrian Newey has been focused so much on the aero that no resources have been put into their engine, and the engine can't perform right now, so they can only do 30 laps. I'm trying to see what their time. They don't even have their times listed. Whatever their times are, let me see what it is. Aston Martin is not even listed as far as times. Their times were slow, probably 1 minute, 40 seconds, almost 2 minutes, whereas Verstappen and Lando Norris are 1 minute 34. So the car is slow, but the reason it's slow is not that the car is slow. It can't push because its engine isn't ready. So this testing they're doing here is also a waste of time for them, and they're going to keep on falling behind on engine. They're going to have to homologate their engine and pray that they don't have a lot of blowouts during the season. What do you think, Kunle?
Yeah, you're talking about the Williams still?
No, not Williams. I meant
Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, Aston Martin have been awful. We saw how they've had their little problems with Adrian Newey and one Mr. Cowell, and it's just going from bad to worse. It's a big old mess there, and they haven't got their act together. Basically, I think Audi are going through a similar kind of problem. We're going to find that out tomorrow. These two teams are really, really struggling, and to not get a showing, and to not even manage to get your times. Yeah, they're not on the lap. I'm checking the board now.
No, I mean they had times, but the times were so slow that they're probably. No, they don't even count. Or maybe they didn't get full laps in, because some teams were dilly-dallying. Like maybe you'll just go hard for half a lap. So whatever their times were, it's probably a 1 minute 40, which means
1:39, and the entire team did 36 laps. That's very poor. Yeah. The Alpine was slow, but they did more than double that. Yeah,
but I think
even that Cadillac in their first year did better than that. That's
see, the reason they're so slow is not that they don't have speed. They can't push. If they push it to 300 kilometers per hour, it might just blow up their engine. Do you get my point? So
yeah, it's not even that they're just so slow. Their performance. I mean, how come they couldn't get any laps out of it? They couldn't get any. They couldn't get.
Because the car's not ready. It's not ready to do a full lap all out. That's just. And this is a problem. And I know that they brought in Newey, and I know that Newey wants to do his aggressive aero and stuff. But now you're so far behind with engine development. And this goes to what you were saying before. They need to find a compromise. I know Newey is the difficult avant-garde genius. But let me tell you, motherfucker, you can't run on a track wearing high heels. High heels look sexy. But you can't run on a track of high heels, because even Formula One tracks have slight bumps in them. So what I'm trying to say is that the car is sophisticated, but it's not integrated with the engine, and the engine is back. So, maybe in year two, Aston Martin will be winning, but they're so far behind this year. I don't see anything good happening, and I think this is the problem when you make Adrian Newey the boss of a team. Adrian Newey has never been the boss of a team. He's always been the aero guy with McLaren, with Williams, and with Red Bull, but he wasn't the overall boss. And I think this is way beyond him now, because you're giving him too much power. He's an aero guy. He's not a holistic engineer who knows how to balance everything together. When he was with Red Bull, they had Rob Marshall, who went to McLaren. So you get what I'm saying? Adrian Newey may be the genius of our age, but he still needs to be within a team which can keep them grounded, because he's not grounded. And the ultimate definition of grounding is to have a functioning engine. What do you think, Kunle?
Yeah. You said it all, basically. Aston Martin aren't really. They've not done themselves any justice this season. They're not looking competitive. They're not looking ready. For a team that promised so much at the end of last season, when we saw the likes of Alonso and Stroll ramping it up, saying they've invested in the car and all of this and that, and then now they're seeing sackings and demotions and movements. It's a bit of a mess. And the teams have taken advantage of all of this mess with Aston Martin. Today, I think I'd keep an eye on that ass.
No, Haas is looking good. Their team principal is fantastic. I think it's Komatsu, the Japanese guy. Very humble guy, hard worker. Haas is reliable, and they have good straight line speed. They just need to work a little bit more on their balance. They're not great with balance or corners, but they're doing well. Fantastic. Tell us your last thoughts about Haas, then we're out.
Yeah, so Haas have been quite surprising. They managed to get a good number of laps in. I saw they got a 135. They're quite fast. They got a 130
and reliable.
And reliable, yeah. They're ahead of the Mercedes. They're faster than the Mercedes. They're faster than the Williams, and normally they get off slowly. Normally they're struggling in the rear with the Cadillacs and the sort of slower cars as well. But this is competitive from them at this stage. Bravo to them. I think that if they're able to maintain this. And it's not just, one of those flash in the pans where they just have somebody just wants to try and confess. And let's hope that they've actually done some good work in the car.
And they have two good drivers, Ocon and Bierman. Yeah, so fantastic job by them. All right, Quille, we knocked it out the box today. No technical folks here today, man. We doing it. Let me stop. People are watching our show. All right, Quille, take us out, man. But we'll be back this time tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's been an exciting look at the first day of testing in Bahrain as the cars start ramping up, and we see the cream rise to the top, and that isn't go to the flop. And from myself and Mustafa, we bid you goodbye, farewell, adieu. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hold on, let me turn the recorder.